Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Klakowski, and I am the ministry associate here at the First Parish in Lincoln. And on behalf of his family, it is my honor to welcome you today as we gather in sorrow and in gratitude to honor the life of Frank Bazos. A man who was at once an adventurer, an organizer, a master planner, an outdoorsman who found solace in nature. He was a young soul full of curiosity and enthusiasm, with childlike wonder, and a man who was known as steady, consistent, the rock of his family. He was a bridge builder in more ways than one, with the work of his hands and the work of his heart. Frank was a steadfastly devoted husband and true partner to Sarah. He was an ever-present and proud father to their 3 children, Olivia, Peter, and Willa. A beloved son, brother, brother-in-law, uncle, and a considerate friend who had a kind word and a warm smile for everyone who was blessed to meet him and be welcomed into his ever-widening circle. To know Frank was to know a sense of safety. His family shared this with me this week. He was our rock, they said, a consistent, calming presence who lived with integrity, always putting good out into the world. And so we gather in gratitude for the way that Frank lived his life and the way that it has touched our own, and in sorrow that he has gone much too soon. We come to sing and to hold close special memories and stories. We come to hear readings, to pray and to fall silent. We come to feel our hearts ripped into and made whole both at once, here in the presence of community. As we give thanks for all that Frank added to the lives of those around him through his warm and steadfast presence, as we release our tears and our anger at our loss, as we say our goodbyes, may you be reminded that you are not alone in your sorrow and your love for Frank, whose loss is so deeply felt by those of you here today, gathered in person, in our overflow room, and online. We have come to shoulder this season of grief together, and as we do, we find ourselves wrapped in the loving arms of community. And so in the assurance of this truth, we bear witness to the life of Frank and his presence that persists among us. I invite you now to rise as you are willing and able to join me in a spirit of prayer. Holy Presence, Spirit of life, companion in sorrow, let your peace come and dwell among us. Today, as we honor Frank's life, let the laughter come and the tears, for grief is healing, and we need the comfort of its release. As we open our hearts in this sacred hour, may we have the courage to embrace what we need to feel or not feel. And through it all, may we support one another in word, in action, in presence, as Frank has done for us. And may the spirit of Frank be an ongoing teacher, a source of love and strength forever available to us. Amen. As we open with a responsive reading, I invite you to say the refrain, "May peace be with us all," after every sentence. May we here find entrance to a still point in the turning world. May peace be with us all. We come together from different places and different traditions to remember how Frank touched our lives. May peace be with us all. Three unseen guests attend this hour: faith, hope, and love. May peace be with us all. Amen. I invite you now to join with me in singing our opening hymn, For the Beauty of the Earth. You may be seated. Our first reading this afternoon is from Seneca, In the Presence of Death. In the presence of death, we must continue to sing the song of life. We must be able to accept death and go from its presence, better able to bear our burdens and to lighten the load of others. Out of our sorrows should come understanding. Through our sorrows, we join with all of those who before have had to suffer and all of those who will yet have to do so. Let us not be gripped by the fear of death. If another day be added to our lives, let us joyfully receive it. But let us not anxiously depend on our tomorrows. Though we grieve the deaths of our loved ones, we accept them and hold on to our memories as precious gifts. Let us make the best of our loved ones while they are with us, and let us not bury our love with death.
It's really hot and sweating like mad. Okay. If someone would have asked us who we wanted as our older brother, it would be Frank. He represented everything you would expect from an older brother. He was protective, dependable, and led the way in every way. As the oldest, we often sought and relied on his good judgment and practicality to guide us in personal and professional decisions, a role he took pride in and excelled at. People can't comprehend the way Frank approached life. By the horns he did. His workout regime rivaled an Olympic athlete, and at the same time receiving honors at school. In business, Frank was a maverick. Frank loved life. Barbecues were one of his passions, and he always found the right butcher for his steaks, chicken, and so on. Olivia, Peter, and Willa, you were Frank's pride and joy. He loved you so much and put so much time coaching you. And Sarah, what can I say? I remember him at the time of your wedding, how lucky he knew he was to have you and the love he has for you. Mom and Dad, you raised us all up so well. We know Frank is still with us. We love you.
Growing up, there was an age gap between Frank and I, and we didn't see much time together while in my teens. But that changed when I moved to Boston in the 90s, and he took me in when looking for a job. It was memorable not because of how I almost wore out his couch after sleeping on it for 6 months, but because he introduced me to his passion for cycling. That summer, we had rented a house in Vermont with friends for weekend bike trips. And every Friday, we'd make the 3-hour commute from Boston, join the group, and grind up thousands of vertical feet through trails, loving every minute of it, rain or shine. I was so grateful for being in that moment, and that was because of Frank. There was a lesson I learned from our trips that summer. Einstein once said, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Meaning whatever the situation, you need to keep moving ahead, even if that movement is small. I believe Frank led a happy life, in part because of this, and because he understood his own self-values, combined with his courage and kindness. Courage in doing what he believed needed to be done, and kindness in treating others the way he wanted to be treated. It's this depth of understanding and depth of character that enabled Frank to make meaningful contributions to me, his family, and friends, and is a true measure of the well-spending of his life. I will miss you, brother.
Frank left for prep school and then university when Connie and I were pretty young. So I'm so grateful that over the past years, we really got to know Frank so much better. For some reason, when I was younger, I thought Frank was more of like a meat and potato kind of person. When in fact, he loved all types of food and would be so excited when, for my husband Mark's dishes, which definitely span cuisines from all around the world. We also had amazing experiences with Frank. One being a extended family cruise that we went on back in 2017. And then just last summer, Mark and we went to visit Frank, Sarah, the kids, and Larson. And we were just so happy to follow in Frank's lead, where from morning to night, we went kayaking, we hiked, we went to the beach, we swam at the beach, in the pool, we had amazing dinner, like home-cooked meal, and then ended the night watching Survivor. It was perfect. Frank was a natural-born leader, with the innate ability to inspire all those around him and remain so calm and level-headed in chaotic situations. Frank is pure of heart, and I know he's still with us in spirit, continuing to guide us, and that each one of us who love him so much will one day reunite with him again.
Over the years, I grew to admire and appreciate Frank for his inclusivity, loyalty, positivity, and creativity. He welcomed me into his home when I needed a place to stay for a few months at a time throughout my life, and on family adventures where I proudly stepped in as his fourth oldest child. Aside from the obvious shared interest and desire to stay active through sport, whether it was cycling or any outdoor adventure, we shared many other quirky interests and passions I only recently realized we had in common. From creating to-do lists, managing expense budgets, and planning the operational details and activities or of an activity or newfound food creation. Clearly, there's a theme. Our shared appreciation for the process as much as the outcome made me feel close to Frank and proud to follow in his footsteps. Taking after our mom, Frank brought a sense of safety, calm in times of uncertainty. And following in our father's footsteps, he brought curiosity, determination, and adventures when opportunities surfaced. Frank, you were a constant for all of us, a brother we admired, looked up to, and always there for us all. You will live forever in our hearts, and you will be greatly missed. We will now hear from our father.
Well, I can see from a full audience here that Frank had a lot of friends, and it fills my heart to see that. And I want to thank you all for coming here to honor Frank. Many of you from quite a distance, and I really appreciate that. And my 4 children have exhausted the beautiful words describing Frank, so I don't want to bore you with continuing on with the same thing, but he really, I don't know where he got it, probably from his mother, because she's such a lovely person too. But he was really an honest guy. I can remember going through the border once with him, and I said, well, you don't have to declare that, Frank, just put it under the seat. He said, no, I can't do that. I cannot do that. And it made me feel so guilty myself. And he was a pretty good hockey player. There's this former defenseman. He played with Ron Dixon. Well, they were pretty good players too, very good. They love hockey. Now, Sarah, I think that's why Frank waited around quite a while, because he was in his early 30s when he got married, and I guess he was waiting for that special person that Sarah has turned out to be. And so I guess Frank, in a untimely death, too soon, he had a full life and many wonderful experiences and friends, and I just don't know what to say, but I'll tell you, if he loved his family, he loved you kids, and he loved Sarah, and I know you loved him. We were down here just two months ago to see Olivia's graduation, and he was so proud and so happy that we were all there. In fact, one of the pictures in front here is a picture of us just 2 months ago, and you can see how Frank was full of life there. It's just a tragedy what happened. It does happen, and just cross your fingers that it's not going to be you or somebody you love. So, yeah, I guess Frank has gone on to some place where all good people go, and I'm sure he's there. And so that's all I can say, and God bless you, Frank. We love you.
To everything there is a season. From Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time of war, and a time of peace.
We first just want to thank everybody for being here and let you all know how appreciative we are of each and every one of you. And we wish our dad could be here to see how many people have come together to honor him.
There is no easy way to summarize the love we all have for our dad. We've gathered some thoughts that can only begin to describe what he meant to us.
Our dad raised us with the perfect balance. He pushed us to be the best versions of ourselves while still being caring and supportive. He encouraged us to always grow our character, learn from others, and be proud of who we are. He, both through words and through his own example, showed us that the saying, stretching oneself too thin, is a myth. He left everyone in awe with how much he packed into each day. He lived life to the absolute fullest and wanted to share his happiness, passion, and love with everyone he met. He was a motivator whose initiative, drive, and leadership were prominent and went beyond admired. He was without any doubt the best dad we could have asked for. Our role model and hero. We love him and miss him dearly, but his memory will live on forever and guide us through the next chapters of our lives.
Daddy took so much pride in us. He loved to share all of our accomplishments, both big and small. He loved to look back on all of the good times and remind us of all of the adventures we shared. On the night that we lost our dad, as friends and family gathered around us, countless fireflies added a soft but noticeable glow around the yard. It went unspoken, but this magical moment was certainly an unforgettable one for all of us. I couldn't help but feel as if he was there with us and will be every day from now on.
He left us far too soon, but he raised us to be strong. He was our fearless leader. He saw the positive side of everything and took every challenge head on and with great enthusiasm. He inspired us to work hard for what we want and to find the things in life that bring us joy. He showed us the value of family and friendship and how every relationship should be nurtured. It would be an understatement to say that life will be different without him here. But luckily, he brought us enough happiness to last a lifetime. He cared so deeply for his family and his friends. And we encourage you all to honor these traits and values as we try to move forward.
To laugh often and much, by Ralph Waldo Emerson. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. I now invite us all to pause for a moment of silence to honor Frank's presence in the world, his contributions to our lives, all his loved ones, and the collective whole, as is testified by all of you gathered here today. We hold space with gratitude for the positive ripple effects of his life beyond the reach of our knowledge. Love weaves our lives together in ways we cannot fully comprehend, and so in silence, let us honor the breadth and depth and reach of Frank's life, both known and unknown. We hold all of these offerings of gratitude and love together in this sacred moment. Amen. Let us continue to offer our gratitude in a spirit of prayer and meditation, saying together the words of the Lord's Prayer, and I invite you to use the language for the holy that resonates the most with you. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I invite you now to rise as you are willing and able for our closing hymn, Morning Has Broken. Amen. On behalf of Frank's family, I thank you all for your presence here today. In just a moment after a final blessing and postlude, you are invited to depart in peace and rejoin the family at the inn at Hastings Park for a reception with conversation and connection. And now receive this blessing. May this blessed community of all who knew and loved Frank go with the peace that comes from gathering in each other's presence. May the memories of Frank be your companion. May they bring laughter and joy when your heart is heavy. May they bring strength when the days are long. May they be a reminder of the gifts of life, so precious and short. On this day and all the days before you, may the sacred uphold you and sustain you. Go with peace, beloveds, for love goes with you. Amen. And thank you again for your presence here, a true testimony to the love that Frank inspired. I invite you now to go in peace, and the family will join you at the reception to greet you there. Amen.